Hello and good morning, my fellow trucketeers. Welcome to this week's debrief video where we work from Monday the 6th of October to Friday the 10th. So, yeah, gonna make this one quick because I'm quite busy today. We've got stuff to do, it's more important than this. So, let's get straight into it. Right, let's fire through this. So, we started Monday 5:30 AM. We run solo from the yard to our storage yard in Axminster to collect trailer 15, the one I dropped off last week with the steelwork in it. I took that trailer to a solar site in Chumley. Once that was unloaded, then run to Hill Barton near Exeter, which is an industrial estate there, to load some concrete forms. It was only like 3 lifts, so nice small load. Took that to Channel Seaways and Pool to be unloaded. Once that was off, then run to Factory Road in Pool to load up. Once that was on, run to Wednesbury to go and unload. Went to the customer. Looked shut. I was like, oh, okay. They're obviously closed or whatever, even though they're apparently 24 hour. So I thought, I don't have much time left, so we run to R&R storage yard up in Bilston, Wednesbury sort of area. And parked up for the night. And then found out that they've actually moved a few units down in the same industrial park, so I didn't have time to go back, so I thought, sod it, I'll do it in the morning. So we finished at 8 PM. We drove 9 hours, 18 minutes. We worked 14 and a half hours, and we done 376 miles. Didn't do a great deal this week, mile-wise. So Tuesday we started at 6:15 AM. I was going to start earlier, but I couldn't be asked to wake up. Run from Bilston to Wednesbury to unload. Once that was it, excuse me, hiccups. Once I'm empty, run to Kronospan and Chirk to load MDF and chipboard, and then run south. But because of traffic and whatever, it was a bit too late to get to the customer for that night. So, yeah, parked up in the yard, went home, finished at 5:45 PM. Worked 11 and a half hours, drove 6 hours, 41 minutes, and we done 288 miles. Wednesday rolls round, 5:45 AM start. Carl came in Wednesday morning. I took his trailer on that he had, which is full of blocks. Went to Bridport Building Supplies. They unloaded that at 6:30 for me. Once that was empty, I dropped that trailer in the storage yard in Gore Cross. Then bobtailed back to the yard to collect the trailer from the day before. Sorry, phone's making noises. We'll shut that up. So we collected the curtain cider from the day before. Took that to Brydeck in West Bay to unload. Once that was unloaded, they then reloaded me for another drop, which was fine. So 20 packs of MDF. Once that was on, we run to Ebbw Vale to unload. And then once that was off, we then run to Oswestry to go load up steel. And when I got there, I was told I'm not to be loaded till the morning because they were waiting for paperwork. So parked up outside their gate, finished at 6:30 PM. We worked 12 hours 45 minutes. We drove 6 hours 29 minutes, and we done 239 miles. So, Thursday, we started at 7:30 AM. Reversed into the customer at 8:30. Loaded the steel and run down to the solar site in Berkeley, which is near, says Gloucester, but I wouldn't say it's Gloucester, but apparently it is. Once that was unloaded, we run to Newport to collect fertiliser, and then from there run down to Blandford and parked up for the night. Finished at 7:30 PM. We worked 12 hours on the button. We drove 7 hours 22 minutes, and we done 277 miles. And then Friday. Friday was a busy one. So started at 7 AM. Run from Blandford to a farm in Witchhampton, which is just up from Blandford, about 20 minutes away. Unloaded the fertiliser. Once that was off, then run to Poolport, and we done a trailer swap with Homer that works at Dave Bevis. So he took on the curtain cider, loaded up. I took on their flatbed, which I then took to Gore Cross. I dropped that, picked up a curtain cider, went to Lidl in Bridport to go collect a pallet of something for my boss. Once that was on, took the trailer back to Gore Cross. We unloaded that pallet out of there into the boss's into the boss's pickup because, well, it was just easier to do it that way. Because there was a forklift up there. So once that was done, took the trailer back go across, swap back to the flatbed that I took there, took that down to the workshop to be parked up, collected a curtain sider that was down there, took that back to the yard and dropped it ready to be loaded up with some stuff. Then swapped to the step frame trailer, which I'm going to be taking out on Monday. Took that to go across, loaded it with 16 pallets we had up there, because we got a forklift up there. Then dropped that trailer there, bobtailed back to the yard, trumped into R555 that was already hitched up to the urban trailer. Took that trailer to Pymore, dropped it in the customer's yard, then run back to the yard, jumped back into my truck, washed that, and then finished 5 PM. Worked 10 hours, drove 4 hours and 3 minutes, and we done 113 miles. So Friday was relatively quiet, and we got home at a reasonable time, which was nice. So for our weekly totals, we put in a total of 1,031.46 litres of fuel. Bearing in mind I started Monday with not much fuel in the tank, so yeah. We done 1,293 miles, and we worked a total of 60 hours and 45 minutes. So, relatively quieter week than I'm used to, so that's fine. Right, we got that bit done. Let's move on to the next bit, which is viewers' questions. If you want to ask me a question, leave it in the comments below of this video, and I will answer it in next week's video for you. Again, it is your way of getting a shout out. You can ask me anything, it doesn't have to be about trucking. So let's get straight into that. So, question number 1 from Davey Chang says, you mentioned, and we often see you down at Kane's yard either for repairs or truck collections drop-off. What facilities do they have there? Can they do MOTs, and do they undertake repairs, etc. for other companies? Yeah, we have a workshop. We do repairs for other companies. I've recently found out that we are actually a DAF approved workshop, which is probably why we do run DAFs. Yeah, we don't do MOTs. We MOT prep, and then it gets taken somewhere else for the MOTs. So there's that. And also you said about the spaces on the TV wire clips down the door archive between... Oh, behind me looks precise. I guess you must have done that. So you're probably on about my parents' house where we had the wire going down the side of the door. I think my dad actually done that. I think that was after I moved out when they redecorated the room. It might have been me. I can't remember. I think it's the internet cable, so it just runs from across the hall and into there. So, question number 2 comes from Robert Mustard. Do you get paid weekly or monthly at Kane's? And do they still have the DAF CF rigid truck? I get paid weekly, which is nice. And the DAF CF, yes, we do still have it. It's currently parked at the Crown Inn in Bridport, which it usually sits there for bands to use during the summer period, and it's just currently stayed there. So, yeah, we do still have it. Whether it's being used or not is, well, it's just not being used at the moment. Question number 3 from Kevin Sallows says, I want my class 1. I asked my should I ask my work to put me through it, or shall I do it myself? That's entirely up to you. It's entirely your circumstances. If you got the money to do it on your own back, then do it on your own back, because it'll be done, and then you don't owe anyone any time or money. Whereas if you get your company to do it, then you'll have to stay on with them for so many years probably, and if you leave beforehand, you'll have to then pay them back. Which is what I did with Lenham's. They paid for me to do it initially, and then when I left, I had to pay them back. So, here's what it is. They did have a scheme where if I stayed there for 3 years, they would have paid me it back as a bonus, what it would have cost. So that would have been quite nice, but I had a chance to move, so I did. It's entirely up to you. It's whatever you want to do. If you're going to stay at the company you're working at for so many years, then why not get them to do it? If it don't cost you nothing, you're saving money, and you get to drive bigger vehicles. It's, like I said, it's all down to your circumstances and what you feel best for you. Question number 4 from Ross McGarry. You asked me a lot of this and a lot of comments you put up. Hi, Jono. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm good. Always good. Can't complain. Still alive. So, there we go. Question number 5 from Tom Winter. What's your most interesting or unusual load? I like doing machinery. That's interesting. I've answered the question like this a few times before. Machinery is always fun. It's always interesting. It's always difficult to strap. Whether that's like factory machines or whether it's at like plant, like tractors or excavators or telehandlers, things like that. all that sort of stuff's always interesting to me. I did take a load of mining equipment from Cornwall somewhere up to Newcastle, and that was a wide load as well, so that was quite interesting. I think it was about 3 meters, so had a movement order and all that, and had to stick to the route, and I think I had a video of it somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, we do plenty of interesting things. Question number 6 from the Gaming Bin Man. Would you buy a truck like what Dazza and Angry Dave? Oh, yeah. And restore it and take it to shows? No. I'm just not interested in trucks that way. I've got a car I'd rather spend my money on than a truck. I don't mind driving trucks for work. I don't mind keeping my truck at work nice and tidy. Owning my own truck is just not something I'm interested in. Yeah. Too much of a money pit for my liking, and I don't really have anywhere to store it. I could probably store it at the yard, but then anytime I want to do work on it, I'd have to bring it up here, and it's just not worth the effort. Question number 7 from Joe Mangle asks, totally awesome, inspiring debrief, John. I don't think anyone else would make fuel purchase, mileage covered, and hours work such an unmissable video. How about a Christmas special rounding up all 3 stats for 2025? Yep, that's probably going to happen. And the very last debrief I'll do for the year will be a live stream, so we'll get into it then probably. And there'll be a little competition to win this book, so you can sit there and attempt to read my terrible handwriting, which is scribbles pretty much. Yeah, so there's that. That's all the questions, I think. Yep, that's questions done. Lovely stuff. Again, if you want to ask me a question for next week, leave it in the comments below of this video. If you leave it in a different video, I'm likely to miss it. Next 2 segments are Mayhem on the Roads. Nothing crazy this week. A couple of people cutting across, but nothing that's made me hit the brakes and that, so nothing crazy, so we'll leave that blank. And Car of the Week was a Toyota MR2, which I saw at a customer's yard. A little bit ropey looking, but still looked pretty smart. So, yeah, one of my mates had an MR2, but I never got to drive that one. Then he moved to London and let it rust because he never drove. And then we'll get on to the last segment, which is Comment of the Week. So Comment of the Week comes from Peter Freeman, and you left this on my video that came out on Monday, where I sort of said about people whinging about me repeating myself about timekeeping, which I then said was all part of the job. Peter Freeman says, thank you, Jono. And please keep rabbiting on, repeating yourself, and definitely talk about time. It comes across as really normal and natural. Be yourself. Thank you for allowing us to join you in your daily work. Thank you very much. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Like I've said before, the job is all about hours. If you're not watching the clock, you're going to end up getting stuck and parked up or late over your hours or driving over your hours and that. So it's best to keep going through the times in your head so you kind of know where you are and what you're doing. Right, that's this week's debrief done. I've got stuff to do, so take it easy. See you next week. Bye.